is that someday you're not going to be able to walk, Cheryl. Having trouble walking. When I was 23 years old, I was diagnosed, or 22 or 23, I was diagnosed with MS. And I said, oh my God. So here I am, this Jewish girl, saying, oh my God. Like, oh my God. I used to say that all the time. But this time I'm on my knees. Oh my God, what does this mean? Why did I get diagnosed? I got diagnosed because I'm in college, my last year, and I can't finish my tests, and I can't see the signs on the freeway. I'm in Orange County, LA County, going to music classes up in Los Angeles because I'm competing for beauty pageants and working 4 jobs, and I can't read the signs anymore. Now I can't see the board, and I'm in college, and I get closer, and I'm still having trouble seeing. And I get glasses, and I'm still having trouble seeing the board. And I go for a run, and I can't see the signs changing when it's time to walk. Good thing I can hear it. It goes beep, 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 beep for blind people. Well, I was getting almost legally blind with them, and then I went to the doctors, and that's when they said there's something internal. The eye doctor said this is not an optometry thing. This is an ophthalmologist issue. There's something going on internal, and that's when I was diagnosed with MS. So, oh my God, I have MS. So what I did, so that's my fire, right? Going through the fire, but I found God. Oh my God, I went to church with a friend from my sorority, and I found Jesus. I found Jesus, and he gave me peace and hope and strength. And my last year of college, I would skip around campus as high as I could, because basically what somebody told me when I was diagnosed with MS is that someday you're not going to be able to walk, Cheryl. Having trouble walking. We'll get to that. So when someone said, someday you're not going to be able to walk, Cheryl, I seized the day. I have lived a life full of seizing the day. So I moved to the mountains after college, finished my year in college. It took me the first semester to say I didn't want any extra help, but then I realized I was not finishing my tests. I went from an A average to a C average in tests in school because of the time. Well, if every question is taking me 30 seconds longer, then it's going to take me 15 minutes longer to complete a 60 anyway. So I finally got help. I learned that I can go to the student services and get extra time. So I got extra time, and I went back to my A average, and so that was my first time testing what it means to get services, what it means to have a disability and get help. So back to my faith. I found Jesus. So I became a Christian, and I'm going through campus, and I'm skipping, because if I can skip, I can get there faster. As I'm about getting there faster, I'm still about getting there faster. Today I have a scooter. Today I have a little scooter that I take to school, and I drive it around because I want to get there faster, and I'm still that person. And I know how to get help, and I know how to get the things I need today. But I was lost in the story. I was lost in between. So back to college, joy in my heart, beat in my step. Even though I couldn't see people, because it was the vision was the first symptom. And I couldn't see people, and it was like they would come up on me, and I would have to be as close to me as you are for me to see their face. So I almost kind of seemed like a snob, because if you're further away, I wasn't saying hi to you because I didn't see you. I couldn't drive very well. My mom had to hire somebody to drive me to school, and my energy was very low that first semester. But I got better because MS is kind of a recessive remissive. So it was really bad, and then I got better. And I was one of the very first people back in 1993 to get on medication, 1994, for MS. They didn't have any medication for MS at the time. The only thing I knew about MS, which I didn't know anything about, was Annette Bonicello had it, and she was in a wheelchair as an older woman. And I also know that it hits everybody differently. So I'm just going to do the best I can to take care of myself and live life to the fullest. So after college, I moved to the mountains and became a ski instructor because I was supposed to be a businesswoman. I've graduated with a finance degree. I was going to be a salesperson and drive all around Los Angeles selling things, but I couldn't see very well to see those signs, and I was going to get lost, and I was getting lost. My energy came back. My vision returned to a point, but I still have trouble reading signs to this day. And the best thing that ever happened to me was when they came out with the GPS to tell me where to go. I said, that's the best $200 I ever spent when the Gorman came out. And then I bought you were going to tell me to turn right and tell me to turn left, and I don't have to see the darn signs. So when that happened, I became a real estate agent. But in between, I moved to the mountains and became a ski instructor because life is short. Life is short. That's one thing I learned at MS. I had a woman friend through my beauty pageants. Her mother was 90. She talked about being 18 like it was yesterday. She was 90. And she didn't live much longer than that. But life is short. It doesn't matter if you're 90. It doesn't matter if you're 18. It doesn't matter if you're 54. Life is short. So I loved that movie, right, with Robin Williams about the carpe diem, seize the day. So I seize the day. And so the mountains, moving to Mammoth was seizing the day. I didn't know how to ski very well, but I loved it. And I feel really good in colder weather than warmer weather. So my parents, I told them on a Friday I was moving to Mammoth on a Monday. And I packed up my bag in my car and I moved to Mammoth Lakes, and my best friend was there. I called her the Friday and she said, oh my God, we just got snow and it was a free day of skiing and it was the best day ever. And I said, I'm coming, can I stay with you? She said, yes. And I got 2 jobs in 2 hours and a place to live by the end of the week. And it was a God thing. I was supposed to be in Mammoth, and I was. And it was a wonderful 2 years of being in Mammoth. In my first year, I sold tickets. The second year, I was a ski instructor. So then my mom was like, Cheryl, you need to get a job. Guess what? They're hiring 3,000 teachers in Los Angeles this year. Come on down and be a teacher like me. I don't really want to be a teacher, but okay, I need a job and I need insurance. I didn't have insurance those 2 years in Mammoth. So, okay, so I'm about 25 years old, or 26 or 7, it's right in there. And I go to LA Unified School District, and I'm one of the 3,000 teachers they hired that year. And I just hit the ground running. They taught me as I was teaching. Like, I got a 6th grade job working with 6th graders, and I've never taught before in my life. And I got my mom to kind of help me, and I got a mentor to help me, and I'm going to classes to learn how to teach. And it was a very difficult year of teaching. And I used to say my first year was, you look funny, Miss Martin, because that's my maiden name. But the next year I taught 4th grade and 4th graders, you look beautiful, Miss Martin. So I liked 4th grade better than 6th grade. 6th grade was not for me. That was a fun time, learning how to be a teacher. So taught for the next few years, and finally, but the exciting thing was, while I was teaching in LA, I was working I worked a year-round school in Los Angeles at that time, where I had the A track with 2 months off in the summer and 2 months off in the winter. So all I had to do, I got a free pass to ski all season because I taught for 2 weeks in Christmas time. I went up at Thanksgiving, I taught a little bit. I went up at Christmas for 2 weeks, and then I had the next 2 months off. And I lived up there with the same roommate that I lived full time, and I paid her and I had an apartment up there with her, and I skied. I skied and skied and skied and skied, and the best days were skiing all day and dancing all night. That was my best day. On a Saturday, ski all day and dance all night. And these other ski instructors are going, well, why, how come she doesn't have to work? Because I was a holiday instructor. I only had to work on the holidays. So it was a very exciting time. But I would never have had that had I not been diagnosed with MS. I would never have had that time. And I've skied a lot of miles, lots and lots and lots of, how many, what do they call them? How many days have you skied this season? Well, I skied hundreds and hundreds of days in those years. So eventually met my husband in Mammoth. I knew every time I'd go to Los Angeles to date guys, they'd say they could ski, but they couldn't really ski. Everyone can ski from Los Angeles, but no one can really ski until you get them on the mountain. And now I'm a pretty good skier because I've been taught by the best ski instructors on the mountain. And while I'm a ski instructor, I'm getting lessons, 2 hours a day of lessons. So I'm skiing the hardest parts of Mammoth Mountain. I've skied hangmans. I call it hangwomans because I got in there. Now this is the scariest thing. I got in there and I fell across my things and I ended up hanging upside down and backwards on the top of hangmans, which narrows into rocks. And I'm at the top and I could still see people at the top, like they could reach down. I said, hey, can you give me a hand? I just need to get my feet under me and I'll be okay. And the guy holds my hand while I get my feet under me, and I proceeded to slip down a little bit and turn. Maybe I made one turn and slept through those rocks and then got to the easier part, which is today I would look at it and go, wow, I skied that. So I call hangmans hangwomans because I have hung on hangmans. That's a fun memory. Thanks. Okay. So, yeah, I've skied something called Hole in the Wall on the backside of the mountain. I've skied a lot, and wonderful, exhilarating, full of life, wind blowing in my hair.
When was the last time you skied?
I skied the last time last winter, in 2024 in January. And I skied, and we went up. I went in 2023. We skied on my birthday, January. My birthday's in January, so I love the mountains. I love the winter. And I could ski in 2023, but on 2024, I couldn't turn left because my right leg is the one that's impaired. So I had to take the ski patrol down. But I wonder if I could do it if it was really flat. Maybe I could do the flat one where you can mostly go straight. But it was a sad day last year. I can't ski anymore, which is too bad. And I loved it. But turning right, my right foot doesn't want to push like it's supposed to. But I have no regrets, I've skied more than most people will ever ski in their whole life. I've lived a full life. I've skied.
And you have MS?
I have MS. I've had it for 32 years. So skiing. I have a cane. I still love to go dancing. So I still have that seize the day philosophy. I'm not skiing anymore, but I'm dancing. I can plant my 2 feet and wiggle my body for as long as I can until I have to sit down, and then I can stand up and do it again. And this man is pursuing me. And that's another wonderful thing I've gained in the last 8 years is self-esteem. So in 8 years, I've slowly done esteemable acts, one esteemable act after the other. I went back to school. I went back to teaching. I'm a special education teacher because of my daughter with special needs has taught me great patience. And I just one little thing after leading a meeting, just one little thing after another. This little esteemable acts has built my self-esteem day by day. And it was about a couple of years ago. I don't think I love myself yet, but I think I like myself now. And we can really, as women who overdo it, I don't know, a lot of us have poor self-esteem, and we also don't like ourselves. You should like yourself. You should love yourself, Cheryl. Love yourself. I don't know how to do that. program has taught me little by little, as my self-esteem has increased, I have built my self-esteem, and I like myself today. And I tell myself, I love you, Cheryl, and you look good.
That's awesome. And with your MS, do you think about it daily, or do you ever think about it?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a daily. I have a cane, my cane right here, and I also have a scooter. It's hard to get up in the morning. It's hard to. I have to get in the shower. It's hard to. I'm still functioning on my own, but I worry. Will I be? It's changed a lot in the last few years. A year ago, I could dance more, longer. You know, I'm having. I used to be able to walk around a small room without a cane. Now I look for my cane before I walk anywhere. So that's scary. What does tomorrow bring? What does a year from now bring? 5 years from now bring? And I do use I love my scooter. So what will it bring? Maybe needing more resources. Maybe I'll have a car that can drive with my hands. I will have a scooter that can go up and down on the back of my van, or who knows. I saw this great girl in a Target one day with a wheelchair, and she wheeled herself through Target, and then she wheeled herself into her van and into the driver's seat, clicked it in, and I'm like, I have to talk to you. You are amazing. She said, yeah, I've had this disease my whole life. She's smart. She's got a great job. She's very independent. And I am smart. I thank God my brain is good. I love working with children. I'm going back to school for my, I have to go back because I want to finish my career maybe as an administrator. And the wonderful thing about San Diego Unified is they having a disability is diversity. So we have diversity in skin color, we have diversity in everything else. But we don't see a lot of people with canes as teachers. We don't see a lot of people. So in my school, when I drive my scooter, I'm diverse. I'm diversify our school. So people with handicaps and disabilities are an important part of our society. That's why we don't put them in a special school anymore. That's why we do inclusion. That's why there was a word yesterday called exposure. The more we see people with disabilities, kids with autism, the more we're used to it. And that's how society has become more that way in the last 10 years, 20 years, and hopefully will continue to be. And I'm proud that I'm a part of diversifying my school and my community. And so I will continue to hold my head up. Dignity is a word that I've learned recently, that as I finish my steps and I'm now a sponsor in Al-Anon, I have dignity today. I think it has a lot to do with those middle steps, the 4, 5, 6, getting rid of our character defects, and then also the steps 8, 9, and 10 is looking at other people and the relationships and making amends to other people. And there's no baggage anymore. I'm not carrying any old baggage with relationships or myself, and I have newfound dignity. And I remember watching Bridgerton a couple years ago, and their older woman with dignity has a cane. Well, she looks cool. She's pretty dignified, and that's me. I have a cane, but I feel really dignified and wise. And people get older, and I'm getting older, and I'll continue to get older, and I'm going to keep doing it with dignity, and my head held high. Look to the hills where my help comes from. This compliment the other day, Cheryl. Oh, I told my sponsor, I said, I'm so happy. She said, Cheryl, you didn't used to say that. I know. I was so happy. I went to Hamilton. Took Richard for his birthday to Hamilton. And I couldn't afford to do that. Anyways, I mean, I'm finally now, because I went back to school and I'm teaching and I'm moving up in the pay scale, and I've gained being self-sufficient. Like, I am self-supporting. I'm self-supporting finally, and I can support myself and my children. And this feels so good to be self-supporting and to be able to afford these tickets. And I put them on a payment plan, and my credit's improving. And it's like sitting at this theater watching Hamilton, and I love the theater. And my ex-husband would never go to the theater with me, and I'm with this wonderful man who's loving it as much as I am, and I'm so happy. And I want to cry because I'm living the life I want to live, and it's been a journey, but I'm doing it, and